So now I'm just walking through my horse pasture because I want us to go and take a look at these other kinds of trees that grow at the back of my horse pasture called diamond willow. And I want to show you some things about the diamond willow trees. You can see my horse pasture flooded a lot this year. We had a lot of rain earlier this spring and this great big lake formed. It's dried up a little bit. The water actually used to be all the way to this opening in the fence. I had to wear my rubber boots to walk out here, and the water was deep enough to kayak in and also up to the bottom of my horse's belly. So it's become the home to a lot of different kinds of varieties of birds, different kinds of ducks and geese, and I even had a loon out here. But wet areas also make a good spot for diamond willow diamond willow trees to grow. And so here's the diamond willows, my diamond willows, and they have lots of little branches. The leaves are kind of long, just like that other willow tree we looked at, but finer. They're not as wide or as big. And I'm trying to find, I want to show you why they call it the diamond willow. But this is not a very good example. So I have to walk around here. There's thistles and I'm not wearing the right shoes. Okay, I'm gonna try to show you in here. If we look at the bark on a diamond willow tree, there's places on the tree where you can see the shape of a diamond. So here's an example of that. And this is a very special tree in Indigenous culture because on the tree, sometimes in those diamonds, you will find something called diamond willow fungus. Here's a bigger tree. We might be able to find bigger diamonds. So you can see that the bark is rough in places. My dad likes to do a lot of woodworking type things, and he often likes to use, there's a diamond in the wood there. This is an older tree. Anyway, he often likes to use diamond willow to make walking sticks because of the diamond shapes in the wood. These trees are kind of, some of them are falling down. Willows kind of grow like this, and they like really swampy areas. You can see there's lots of water over there. And on these trees, in those diamonds, like in these diamond shape areas, sometimes a fungus will grow in there, like a mushroom. Fungus is a mushroom. And in Indigenous culture, the diamond willow fungus is an important medicine. I've actually found fungus out here at times. I don't know if we'll find any today. I'm not really wearing the right shoes to look. Oh, here's a piece of fungus. It's our lucky day, grade 6. Ow. Definitely not the right shoes. So you can see on there is some fungus growing. So you would have to take a knife and cut that out after making an offering of tobacco. And really, only people who know what to use it for would do that. But you can use it to make teas or other medicines. There's actually another little piece starting to grow right there. So we did find some. That's interesting. So as we continue on this little field trip around my yard, I want to show you some of the trees now that produce berries. This is a mountain ash tree. Maybe you can think about it. Do you think it's coniferous or deciduous? Maybe think about that as we take a look here. So mountain ash trees have these bright red berries and several leaves on one leaf stem. You can see how they grow like that. And they have these nice bright berries. The birds love these berries, but these berries are not good for people to eat. So it's always really important to know and be able to distinguish which trees are producing berries or nuts and seeds that are edible and which ones may be poisonous or harmful. You definitely don't want to eat the berries off of a mountain ash tree. It looks very lovely though, and the birds really love them, and the birds can eat them, eat the berries without harm. So now we'll go and take a look at some berries that we can eat. Okay. Here are some high bush cranberry trees. I have a row of them here. There's about 3 of them, 3 or 4. And they get filled with these red berries as well. These are actually cranberries, high bush cranberries. They make delicious jelly. In Ukrainian, we call it kalyna. Maybe some of you have seen or heard of the Kalyna Country magazine. That's talking about kalyna country, cranberry country. Sometimes people call the jelly that's made with these berries toe jam, because in the fall, when the berries are ready to be picked, they actually smell a lot like stinky socks. And if you're out quadding in the bush, or if I'm working in my yard, I definitely can smell the distinctive smell of the high bush cranberry. And these, you can see the leaves are turning a lovely red. The berries are ready to be picked. They're nice and juicy. They're actually quite delicious. And the berries are so heavy, there's so many of them this year that they're pulling the branches down towards the ground. High bush cranberries. And I think actually just over here might be that tree that I saw that was full of cones. Sure, the sun is kind of shining in the video a lot here, but you can see in this tree, see if I can extend my selfie stick a little bit more, the spruce cones hanging from this tree. It's just loaded with cones this year. So this again would be a coniferous tree. It has cones and needles rather than leaves, like a deciduous tree would. And coniferous trees keep their needles, and their needles stay green all winter long. Sometimes people like to use coniferous trees for Christmas tree at Christmas time. I don't like to do that. I don't like to use a real tree for Christmas. I don't like to cut down a living tree for that, but a lot of people do. Some people love to do that. Look at how many cones are on this tree. It's loaded. I have a lot of trees in my yard. This land has been in my family for almost 100 years. My grandparents immigrated here, and they came to this land, and so the trees have had a long time to grow and establish themselves. And as we're walking along here, because see if there's anything else I want to show you, I just want to talk a little bit more about the importance of trees in Indigenous culture. So I've learned, because I've worked very closely with Indigenous communities in the past, and I've gone to many ceremonies and learned a lot of things from elders about the importance of trees in Indigenous culture. And I think if you completed the last science activity, I asked you a question: why, could you make a prediction as to why Indigenous people, or why in Indigenous culture they might refer to trees as a grandfather or grandfather spirit? I don't know what my dog is looking for in there, but she's going to be all stinky when I take her, when we get back in the house after. And Indigenous people use trees in ceremony all the time. They use branches of the willow tree to build a sweat lodge. They use a large poplar tree for the center pole of the Sundance Lodge, which is the most important ceremony in Indigenous culture. And trees take a long time to grow. Like the ones I showed you in my yard that are almost 100 years old. They've been growing here a long time. And it takes a long time to gain wisdom, which is usually why people kind of equate getting older with wisdom, although it doesn't have to be that way. And they will often say that grandfathers and grandmothers are wise. In Cree culture, they would call their grandmother Cookum and their grandfather Musum. There's some ducks, I'm scaring them away. And so in Indigenous culture, and I think even in our class discussions, we have realized that trees are something to be valued. It's something that they provide a lot for us. They help sustain the economy. They can provide us with food and medicines, shade and recreation, and many other things. And so trees are something to be respected and honored. When Indigenous people are harvesting trees for ceremony, they actually have an entire ceremony before they harvest the trees for the ceremony. And the ceremony is to show the value of the trees. So I think this video will be long enough. I want to make another video showing some of the things that live under the trees and in the trees and above the trees. But in this video, what I really wanted to focus on was just the differences between deciduous and coniferous trees, and distinguish between some different kinds of trees. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed all the trees in my yard and my big lake, which used to be a horse pasture. Bye for now.